Hello, dear students. Welcome back to the third part of lesson number 2, Class 7 History and Civics. In the previous video, we covered up the remaining part of the chapter. The name of the chapter is Rise and Spread of Islam, and we studied from the Turks. And what we studied about the Turks, that after the 10th century, several Turkish tribesmen recruited as journal emerged as amirs and sultans of independent states. The Turkish rulers of Ghazni invaded India in the 11th century. After the 11th century, the Seljuk, Ghorid, and Ottoman Turks controlled West Asia. Then we studied about the Crusades, that Crusades were a series of religious wars between the Christians and the Muslims. Okay. Then we studied about trade. Under the Abbasids, the Arab controlled Asian overland trade as well as a maritime trade in the Indian Ocean and the Persian Gulf. Then we studied about Arabs spread knowledge gathered from the Greek, Chinese, Persians, Indians, and Romans. And Arabs made a great progress in astronomy and medicine. Ibn Sina, a philosopher, scientist who wrote the canon of medicine, Islamic alchemists became experts in the chemistry. And we were studying about Islamic architecture, and we studied about what kind of architecture Islam is having is a onion shaped dome and geometric patterns, flora design, mosaics and calligraphy. Okay, all these things were used in decoration the buildings. So we studied in the previous video all these things. Now this is the time to take question answers. Okay, so there are short questions as well as long questions. There are 8 short questions. So here are your questions. Yes, you can see on the screen that the question number 1. What do you understand by Hijrah? This question you can see. What do you understand by Hijrah? What is its significance? So, the answer is Muhammad's escape from Makkah to Medina is called Hijrah. This event marked the beginning of the Islamic era and the birth of Muslim community. Okay. Next question is why is there no clergy in the Islamic religion? This is your second question here. Islam stresses on the responsibility of every individual to live a life of faith without the help of priest, hence there is no clergy. Okay. Next question, question number 3. Name the 2 sets in which Islam is split. Mention one important difference between them. So 2 sets in Islam are Shia and Sunni. Here you can see Shia and Sunni. Shias believe that Khalifa is appointed by divine will, and Sunni believe that they should be chosen by the whole community. Question number 4. Name the 2 most powerful caliphates and their seats of power. So the answer is when Abbasid Caliphate was on the decline, new rulers recruited many Turkish tribesmen as soldiers and generals. They converted to Islam and set up independent states and became rulers. They assumed titles like Amir and Sultan. Now come to question number 6. Who was Ibn Sina? So the answer is Ibn Sina was an Arabic scientist and philosopher. He is famous for his work The Canon of Medicine. Question number 7. What was the contribution of Islamic alchemists? So the answer is they discovered new metals, drugs and other substances. Great expertise in the chemistry and in preparing medicines. Okay. Next question is question number 8 and the last question. What forms of decoration were used by Islamic artists and builders? So the last question, Islamic artist, here you can see this is the answer, used geometric patterns and floral designs. They decorated buildings with mosaics and calligraphy. So here we have completed short answers. Okay. Now come to the long answers. Yes, this is your B part. First question is explain the main principles of Islam and 5 duties of a Muslim. So the main principles of Islam. The first one is surrender to the will of Allah, the one and only God. Then second one is everyone will have to face the day of judgment. Third one is it is process in the on the responsibility of every individual to live a life of faith. Fourth one is it is process on the equality and brotherhood of men. Fifth one is it prohibits the worship of idols and the charging of interest on loans. These are the 5 principles, and now come to the 5 duties. The first one is every Muslim must correctly recite the basic statements of faith. Muslim must pray 5 times a day. Every Muslim must give alms to the poor and pay a tax on the income. Then the fourth one is a Muslim should fast from dawn to dusk in the month of Ramzan. Then fifth one is every Muslim who can afford to undertake the annual pilgrimage to Makkah must do so at least once in a lifetime. Dear students, here you have to write capital letters in sentence number 3. Here E and A and E all will be capital. It is typing mistake. Okay. Next one is question number 2. What were crusades? When did they take place? So here you can see the holy war between Muslims and Christians were known as crusades. Its aim was to free the holy city of Jerusalem from Muslim control. The crusades began in 1096. Okay, this is the answer. Question number 3. This question number 3. Islamic civilization borrowed from other cultures. Okay, in this context discuss. So a question is the influences of the Greek in the sphere of philosophy. So the answer is influences of Greek. Muslim philosophers were deeply influenced by the rational ideas of Greek philosophers, especially Aristotle. They translated a number of Greek philosophical works into their own language. Muslim scientists initially studied and translated Greek books of astronomy, astrology and medicine. Okay. Now come to the next part, question number B. The influence of Indians in the field of mathematics. So the answer is direct borrowed. We are talking about Islamic culture. Okay. So direct borrowed the decimal system and concept of zero from India. The Indians numeral 1 to 9 and 0 were introduced in Europe by the Arabs. Question number 4. Describe the contribution of Islamic scientists in the astronomy and medicine. Islamic scientist. So the answer is Islamic scientists studies and translated Greek and Indian work in astronomy, astrology and medicine. Direct made great progress in the use of lenses and built observatory is data provided accurate astronomical data. They found out that the earth rotates on its own axis and revolves around the sun. Then Arab philosophers, scientists like Razes and Ibn Sina made great contribution in the fields of diagnosis diseases. The rulers built hospitals and encouraged the study of medicine. The scientist, the chemical scientist became expert in chemistry and preparing medicines. Now come to question number 5. Comment on the contributions of the Arabs to medieval literature and architecture. So this is the contributions of medieval literature and architecture. This you can do. Okay, it is visible to you here. Okay. Now come to the next part, that is your C part. State the following statements, whether they are true or false. So the first one is Islamic era began in 622. It is true. Second one is Prophet Muhammad continued to worship the black stone at the Kaaba. It is false. He accepted that black stone, but he never worshipped. Okay, because Islam doesn't allow no any kind of ideal worship, whether it is a stone or whatever. The third one is Ramzan is the month in which Muslims fast from dawn to dusk. Yes, it is true. Fourth one is Arab traders spread Islam among the coastal people of Gujarat and Malabar. Yes, it is true. The Arabs invaded the numerals 1 to 9, invented the numerals 1 to 9 and 0. No, they borrowed from India. It is false. Now come to choose the correct answer. There were succession disputes during the tenures of the Khalifas. So the right answer is between whom? So the answer is Uthman and Ali. Second one is the Arab could not proceed beyond Sindh into the rest of India because the answer is they were checked by the Rajputs rulers of India. This is the D1 is the answer. Okay, and here for first C1 is the answer. Next one is which of the following was not a powerful Turkish group in West Asia after 11th century? So it was Umayyad, not powerful. Okay. Fourth one is Islamic artist did not use human forms in decoration because it went against Islamic law. B1 is the answer. Okay. So till here you all have to complete your work in your fair notebook and learn the chapter so that you will get a test paper on in the next video on next turn. Okay. Till then, take care.